morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me.
Imagine if you have your vision as the car with the right team.
Imagine how quick that vision will come into the footsteps. Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months. This morning is all about the leadership and influence. Hi everybody! Greetings. It's so good to be back on set with you on the Inside Show. What you don't know, this is the filling station. This is a place where we discuss stuff. And today we've got such wonderful people in the studio you won't believe. You don't go anywhere, but before we get into the show, I would love you please just to subscribe. And then there's a bell there that you need to hit. Every time when we come on live, you will know that the Inside Show is online. And there's different things that we do. Like on a Monday, we have the morning shake with Xavier, and there's the extremes you can't believe. Then on Tuesdays, I'm on. Wednesdays, I'm on. On Thursdays, a show for my wife entitled Talk with Joan. On Fridays with the Unc. Is that so, Mr. Cameraman there behind here? In Your Fields with Mr. Ant. The show is very laid back. We talk here. We can call the producers in. We can do anything at any point in time. But I have got I'm surrounded today by two beautiful ladies here. And they're going to dance according to the beat here. My subject today is dancing to the beat of my drum. And everybody in life, if it's me or it's you on the other side, watching here by YouTube, you dance according to the drum beat. But sometimes other people play the drum. Sometimes you dance along. Sometimes you find yourself, you know what's so miserable for me most of the time, I will be at a wedding or so, and somebody want me to go and come and dance, and I don't know nothing about the dance, specifically with this modern dance. It sounds more like a rap or something. I'm more the blues, slow kind of guy, you know, the long arm type of thing, and then they want me to do stuff, and I feel so out of tune. But life is like that. Sometimes the drum is completely out of beat, and it feels like so uncomfortable, but it doesn't mean that there's not music. It doesn't mean there's not lyrics attached to it. Sometimes we don't understand it, but it makes a lot of sense. Well, again, back dancing to the beat of my drum, I've got in the studio with me a wonderful, beautiful lady by the name of Charlene Goliath. What an intelligent, beautiful, smart girl. Charlene, good day to you and a warm welcome to the show.
Good morning, Doc. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, thank you for coming. And with me also here in the show is a young, smart young lady. She's nothing in political science. I'm telling you, this girl knows her subject. I've got her here. She goes by the name of CJ. I was joking offset with her. Said, CJ, your name is way too long. She said, CJ is the way to go. CJ, please just a warm welcome to you. Tell us a little bit about your background and where you're from, what you do, and so on.
Yes, thanks for having me, Doc. So my name is Cameron June Base, but I do go by CJ. I'm 23 years old and I study political science with a minor in French at the University of Pretoria.
That's great. So the intention is to be, when you're done with that and you get that piece of paper with the cap on and the gown and the applause and you walk out there, what would CJ be?
I'm still working on that, but...
what would you love to be?
I would love to go into foreign affairs, diplomacy.
All right,
yes.
Foreign affairs.
Yes.
You never know who's watching on the other side. Then you might just impress somebody there on the other side. You never know. CJ, I'm going to throw this ball at you. So when the thumb lands, you read to me, right?
Sure.
Here's it coming. Right.
Okay.
You read there.
Name something you're thankful for.
What will you be thankful for?
I'm thankful for my father.
Yes, your dad. I will go for my mother. She's go for her dad. Your mom is gonna watch this show, and I tell you, if she's not watching this show, I'm gonna forward this link to her. Say, watch this girl. She loves her. Oh, no. Okay. Why your dad?
The principles and the teachings, man.
Yes.
I am a much better person that I am today than I was yesterday because of the daily principles and teachings that he imparts.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Let me get that. Charlene, I'm gonna get to you. Let me see why your thumb lands there. Read there.
I feel better when I exercise.
When you exercise.
Yes.
Yeah.
It releases my endorphins, Pastor.
Is that so?
A Doc.
Just throw it back at me. I'm gonna give it to you. Come. I'm gonna give it back to you. Let's go.
What feelings may need a coping skill?
Yes. What feelings? Some people need a coping skill when they're angry. Some people need a coping skill when there's a lot of food in front of them. You need a kind of coping. I'm going to cope out of this. Yeah. What would that be for you?
When I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Okay.
I need a coping skill. To put everything into perspective. Because that's what I normally do. I put it into perspective. It's like a loaf of bread. I'll just realize I have to slice it up and take it one slice at a time and then one bite at a time.
Wonderful.
And that's how I cope.
Like a loaf of bread. You see, I'm struggling with my COVID pimple here, and she's talking about bread here on my set here. Like a loaf of bread. Life is like a loaf of bread. Just take it one slice at a time. Well, you know what? It's so good having you here, dancing at the beat of my drum. Your journey, besides the academic side, tell us a little bit about your journey.
I come from a big family. We are 9 children. My mom is an exceptionally strong woman. So it would be remiss of me to leave her out. She's actually what shapes all of us, all the sisters especially. We're 7 sisters and 2 sons. So that is where I originate from. So I come from a strong family. So being strong is actually not even a choice. It's just something that is inbred in me, something that I've seen lived and applied throughout my life. So that has just been the basis of everything that has happened, the choices that I've made. Some choices I have not made. Some things just happened to me without me. But so that is the bouncing ground. My family, my mom.
Yeah. Tell us a bit about you have children with us here in the studio here today. Is a beautiful girl by the name of Samantha. Tell us a little about her, and there's a picture now. People, the viewers will see the picture.
Yes, Sammy is my baby. She's my last born. She's 13 years old. She's such a sweet, gentle child. Sometimes I always think, why couldn't I be like Sammy? She was actually, how she is exactly how I wanted to be when I was growing up.
What? Wow.
She was the kind of girl that I wanted to look like, to be like. Even her voice is so soft and gentle, and I've got this loud voice, I sometimes wish I can be a little, soft-spoken, whisper.
Yeah.
She's just so gentle and so gracious. So that's what I love about my daughter. And then I have my son, Christopher. He's 21 years old. He's a final year student also at Wits, doing his BA in digital arts design, coding. That's what he does. So those two are the fruits of my womb.
The one on the left and one on the right.
Yes.
That's so great. Tell us a little bit about your academic background before we get to a little more personal stuff about life and how life treated you and so on. But more a little about your academic record.
Well, Doc, as growing up in our apartheid South Africa at the time, I just went the usual route that was expected of us, and I just became a teacher. I never saw myself doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm one of those people that color within the lines. I stick to the speed limit. I don't even dye my hair a different color because I like to be safe. That's me. So I became a teacher, which I loved. So I did a 4-year background education I started at the Rand College of Education. Then I went to Dower College of Education in the Eastern Cape, and I did a 4-year high diploma in education. Immediately when I started teaching, in my first year of teaching, I also at the then Rand Afrikaans University. It's now University of Johannesburg. And I then started my degree in my BA in education, majoring in psychology and English. And then that's what I did. And then thereafter, I started my honors in education, specializing in educational psychology. And then Christopher came along, so those things were paused. It's just amazing how we just heard about these dreams and missions that were just halfway and never realized. But in any case, that was my education degree and my education background. And I taught and I love teaching, and I just love being with young people and so on. And then years later, I decided to do something completely different in a different field.
Which is what?
Which is law.
Oh, listen, CJ, she's so modest. It's like, I just decided to try. As if she's just changing a top.
Yeah, no,
I've got this
easy.
green.
Just
I'm just going to try something.
Nothing too risky.
No, because I'm not a risk taker. That is definitely how my narrative of who I am when I describe myself. I'm not a risk taker. I'm not a go-getter. I'm just someone that's just doing things that, I don't know, it just comes to me. And then I started law, not even thinking that in the end I'm going somewhere with this. It was just something to do because I was married, at the time, and I was a housewife and I didn't want to do nothing. I can't sit and do nothing. When something sits too long, it goes bad. whether it be milk, whether it be fruit, whether it be, so you have to keep it moving.
Yes.
And I just had this compulsion to just keep it moving. And I just started studying. And I didn't even think, and first year, second year, third year, fourth, and that's how it, and when I finished that degree, let's do conveyancing.
Yes.
And I just did that, and then what next?
No, wait a minute. She's going too fast. Ask her a little about conveyancing. What do you know about conveyancing?
I know absolutely nothing.
She should tell us something about conveyancing.
All right, yeah. Well, a conveyancing attorney actually is a property transferring attorney. We transfer properties when houses are bought and sold and so on. It needs to be registered in the deeds registry. A conveyancer has to transfer the property.
Okay.
So that is it's such a difficult exam pass, and ask the lawyers. And I thought, now I'm going to do that. Not thinking that it would be too difficult, because I never.
Why that specific? Did you read it somewhere on a newspaper article on the internet or something? How do you get to that? I mean, from law to conveyancing, it's like, what attracted you to that? What do you think, CJ?
Yeah, no, that's my question too, because you actually said that you have this compulsions to then move to that. And so I just actually wanted to ask, what do you think, or rather, sorry, excuse me, do you believe that it was God pushing you in that direction? Because I would like to believe that it was always predestined and you were always sort of meant to go on that path, because nothing is by accident.
Yes, no,
And so
absolutely.
yeah.
No, absolutely. And I've come to realize that, I don't know, earlier on someone said, man makes plans, but it's God's purpose that will
Yes.
stand. And I do believe, looking back, hindsight is 20/20 vision. And looking back, I can see that my steps were always ordered.
Yes.
I am not so intelligent to come up with these brilliant ideas. It is Holy Spirit inspired, definitely, because I'm not going to take credit for all that.
Yes.
He led me, but choosing conveyancing was something that I was not going to be, because a lawyer, I'm not going to be fighting in the courts
Yes.
and litigation and going to criminal matters, and that's not my personality. I'm not confrontational. I don't like doing that. So I went into conveyancing because at the time I'm telling you, I didn't have all these grand ideas and plans and aims and ambitions. It wasn't that. I was just doing something while I'm being married and a mother, and and it just took on a life of its own. It just took on a life of its own. That's why I said it was inspired. I didn't know I was going to be here.
Yes.
Even today, and doing what I'm doing. That's not what my plan was.
So is that bread, that slice?
Yes,
She takes
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's like everything for her is like bread, one slice at a time, eh?
One slice at a time.
You wanted to ask something, CJ?
Oh, no, that's
Okay.
fine.
No, Pastor, I'm realizing now that, I'm actually in God's hands here.
Yes.
And I've now relinquished the idea that I was in control. I am not in control. God is actually in control of my life. And I know that when he leads me, it's through difficult times. It's
Yes.
through the fire where I have to be refined. And I've now just said, okay, whatever comes, Lord, I know that you have equipped me to handle it.
It's complete surrender.
Yeah.
Welcome again to this wonderful show. I've got a wonderful lady here, and we're discussing some stuff here. We just completed a academic record here, but the real reason why we're here is on that drum beat. And sometimes the music is not the way we want it to be. Sometimes life throws stuff at you, fast beats and slow beats and long arm beats and salsa beats and so on. But just on a lighter note, before we get into your life journey, you also mentioned on our pre-interview that you enjoy dancing. Tell us a little about that, and what music you love to dance to.
Oh, I just love to dance. When
Yeah.
the music is playing in my house, mom is in a good mood.
Yes.
That's also how I actually, I'll put on praise and I'll put on whatever music that just, at the time. So I love to listen to, I'm old school. So I love to listen to old school R&B. I know everyone says you're so stuck in the past and, you get a bit more modern. Well, I get the modern music from my children, so I know a little bit about modern music. But for me, and in my car, I tell my children, this is my car.
Yes.
This music that's going to be playing is my music, because that music just takes me to another level, like sometimes you just have to escape out of the humdrum of life, and it just makes you feel good.
Do you also sometimes play music? I play music according to my mood. And you, CJ,
Yes, ma'am.
sometimes you feel like a little depressed, not a good place to be, but it's possible. Together, disappointment,
Yes.
or just happy mood, happy feeling.
Yeah.
What will your happy music be?
I like pop music. That's my happy music. But sometimes I find even when I'm stressed and I'm about to write an exam, I must get that liquor. That music's going to put me in a vibe.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I can definitely attest to the different feelings and music.
About music.
Yes.
Well, the statement, schedule your pleasure. Schedule your pleasure every day, for your pain is already scheduled itself.
Yes.
That is a loaded statement.
Yeah.
That's a loaded statement, I tell you, because pain have a tendency almost as if there's a path for it. And it's almost as if pain are meant to be. And most of the time, we're not ready for pain. And most of the time, things happen. Tell us a little bit about your journey and the pain that you experience in your life on this road. You can start at any point in time because the listeners would love to hear. You know, they love good stories. But you know what's the beautiful part? Sometimes the drum beat is not what you want it to be because you don't plan the drum to be there. But it happens. And sometimes you don't know how to even maneuver yourself on the floor when that drum beats. But tell us your journey.
You know, I'm at this stage now, I'm coming to realize, and like I said, hindsight is 2020. I'm coming to realize that why do we always want to understand pain? You know, why do we want to understand even God? We want to ask God why, or even when someone explains something to you, you're reluctant to say, I don't understand, because it kind of shows that your brain is maybe not on that person's level. So you don't want to admit that you're not on that higher level of thinking you don't understand. You know, so people just say, yes, I get it. In the meantime, they don't understand. So when things happen to us and bad things happen, we want to say, Lord, why? God, why? I can't understand why this is happening. So we are actually so presumptuous that we want to understand God.
Yeah.
I mean, God's mind is so, you know, it's unfathomable. So now we want to understand these ways that are so higher. We want to understand God. And I come to the point where I'm not going to try to understand God and the pain. I just want to, all I cling on to is the fact that God is good. And God is for me.
Yes.
You know, and that's all that I know. And I know that even this bad thing that happens, He'll turn it around for good.
Yes.
Because He's good and He's my Father and He loves me. So that's my mindset now. So when the pain comes, we mustn't be surprised because Pastor, Doctor, you know, Jesus says, you know, in this world we will have trials and tribulations. So why are we surprised when it comes? I try to explain to Sammy, my daughter, because I realize she's a woman in the making. And she's going to be facing these same things growing up and going through love, marriage, unfortunately sometimes divorce, you know, and then I don't want her to be surprised.
Just on that one point, the point of divorce, the drum and the sound of of I don't want to call it nature, the unfairness of how things will come to you. You went through a tough time in that. Tell us about the first and what happened. And I know it's a little emotional, but share a little about that because you know what? Somebody on the other side just want to see somebody who made it through.
That's true.
Yes, Pastor. As I said, it hits you sometimes, you know, from left field. You don't even expect that. I remember my mom always said, you know, in our last house, well, the house that we, our marital home, oh, please don't ever sell this home. You know, this is going to be the home where I want to be buried out of. And I said to my mom, no, Mom, I'm not moving from this house again because we bought a couple of homes. I said, this is I'm either going out of here in the casket or I'm going to the old age home. But never am I, you know, I'll be leaving this. And it's just so amazing. I mean, within the next year, literally, you know, it was all gone. And so, you know, it just, that I say, why are we surprised when things happen? It's now not my music. I'm not dancing. This beat
You
is
never
not my...
asked for
I
that.
never asked for this. And it was unfair, you know, and I said, the Lord, but this is unfair. But then I reflect on was it fair what happened to Jesus? You know, why do we want to be like Christians, but we don't want to be like Christ? So this is what happened. And, you know, being married for 17 years, committing myself to loving, you know, one man and raising my children and all that. And, you know, then the devil just comes from another part and infidelity and having to, you know, have another woman in my marriage and, you know, having been told that, but I can share. Why can't I just share? You know, be one of two. And I said, no, that's not who I am. I'm a Christian. Oh, please, you Christians, David had many and Abram had many wives and all that. And at the time, I had come so full circle to realize that, look, I've now prayed over this thing because I was aware of the infidelity since 2017. But at the beginning of 2019, after having walked the path and even after having spoken to you, having received wise counsel and really laying it out, giving it to the Lord to say, save this thing. And it didn't happen. And even that I had to make peace with the Lord. Even my stepdaughter, said to me, but, Charlene, I don't understand. You prayed so much. You gave so much. You did everything that was asked of you. Why did this still happen? I tried to understand that. So I said to her, Sharon, I also was there asking why. But then I realized God is in control. He knows what is happening. He knows the end part. And out of all this, something good will come of it. I don't know what it is yet, but I know He's given me the grace to go through each pain, each betrayal, each twist of the knife. Because even a year later, him having been married now, is married to someone else. Still the knife gets twisted, and I'm not left to just be in peace. I still, and I'm being so. As Christians, sometimes we have to do this thing. People expect us to be so nice and to be so mature. And that's what I'm going to be mature in this new relationship. Let me have a friendship with my ex-husband. I'm going to be gracious and allow him to come into my home. I'll be gracious, allow my daughter to go to their new home, although it kills me. But I'm going to be this. And yet, the next person doesn't know the meaning of graciousness, doesn't even know respect and boundaries and so on. So, I thought to myself, no, now I have to draw lines. I have to set boundaries.
Yeah.
Because what is our biggest mistake? We think our hearts, how we are, other people are also.
Yes.
We expect them to give us the same amount of understanding, respect,
grace,
love, and all, but it's not reciprocated, and we are surprised. Why are we surprised when those very people, that they betrayed us, they hurt us so, but yet we're expecting better from them. So I thought to myself, Charlene, catch a wake up now. Draw the line. You can't want to be this hero of being nice to everybody because you only have one heart.
And you should protect that.
I must protect my
You're
heart.
doing well. Thank you so much for sharing. I know it's hard for you, but you know what? Everybody on the other side, CJ, what did you experience now when she shared that story?
I just I admire you so much, because it's almost as if, or not almost as if, but that whatever we're going through, God is unaffected by that, because we might be going through divorce or failing university, but God is still good. And it's so important as a believer to be of that belief and opinion and faith. And so you're so it's admirable, honestly.
She's a strong woman, and I know she doesn't want to hear that, because most of the time when you go through tough times in life, people say you're strong. Do you also get it?
Yes, many people say I'm strong. I thought to myself, that's so weird, because I'm the weakest of my sisters. We're 7. I'm not strong. I don't see myself as that. But yet now, having known, other people see you.
Yes.
What you're doing. And other people, and God knows. So God knows your identity, because through all this thing, the devil wants to rob you of your identity, want to rob you of that confidence of who you are. I'm this. And that is always a thing for me. I was never confident in who I am. And the attacks on my confidence were throughout my life, coming from those that's closest to you. I so identified with what the pastor was saying today inside in the service, because that's exactly, and I so, if I can just bring in King David. King David had so many attacks on his heart, but from those he loved most, those closest to him. And it's because of our heart of love. When I love, Pastor, I give my everything, and I expect the same.
And you expect the same from the other person.
Yes, whether it's my husband, whether it's my sisters, my brothers, my friends, I expect the same, and we don't get the same.
Exactly. And that's exactly what life is just all about. Some sometimes there's a level of expectation, but it doesn't come because the drum beat of life is not the same for everybody. And the music, sometimes the songs that the world play at us and circumstances playing at us, it's not really good ones. You know what? I want CJ just to read that on the screen for me. There's maybe in the world of emojis. Just read that for us.
So maybe in the world of emojis, they laugh at our ignorance every time we send smiley faces with sad intentions. We no longer laugh like humans. We just imagine laughter.
Yes. What does that mean to you when you read that? You know what? That's strong.
Yeah.
Because we're living in this pretense, and this is what I like about the interview today. This is you. Charlene, this is all you. It is good music, bad music. The drum beat is out there. And you know what? For you to come on the set and to share your story, but there's a great story still waiting. But this is what people want to hear out there. They want to hear truth. And you know, the other day on the set here, I had your dad on the set here, and there's something about our show that I like. People sense it when it's real.
Yes.
It's just like that. And what I've learned about the millennials, do you know the millennials? And by the way, you're a millennial, right? So the millennials, Charlene, we are kind of X's, eh? Yeah, we X's, eh? But this is millennials. But you don't be too proud because there's Z's already, eh?
Yes.
And it's like there's a Z sitting right there behind you, Charlene's daughter. That's a Z sitting right there. And sometimes the gap is so big. But within that, sometimes I get a tendency that the millennials want truth.
Yeah, no.
They're tired of a facade or so. Do you think that's true?
I can totally attest to that. I think within all of us there is that deep desire, and we seek truth at the end of it. Yeah, and just looking at that, and just listening to what you had to say, I think it's so different from your life, and just sharing everything you did is so different from that, because it's like you said, we're so used to, not only pretending but also perpetuating that, and for you to come here and just share your story and let out your tears, it's the complete opposite. And for that, that's so much bravery, really.
It's such a lot of bravery. Everybody out there, this is the inside show. This is really, really insight on stuff. Because you know what? If you look at Charlene here today, man, what an achiever, what a brilliant mind. She's clearly a melancholy. I tell you, I'm married to a melancholy. I can just see her melancholy. Boxes and boxes. Boxes, things that's supposed to be in boxes are in boxes. Right? Blouses on one side, jeans on the other side, the drawers for the socks, and the drawers for this. It's like you don't mess with a melancholy. Eh? And then you're the type of woman, and when we get to your house, everything is in place. My wife is like that. Things don't lay around, and so I'm choleric. And then if I didn't marry a melancholia, I don't know, because I'm big picture. There's no fancy stuff with me. There's no frills. I'm always this person that think things out and just go for it. But I need people around me like you. Eh? Now, just to look at it, do you think you're also melancholy?
I'm actually a phlegmatic, so I'm all about the peace.
I don't believe it.
Details.
Are you a phlegmatic?
Complete opposite from you.
Oh my God!
Wow.
But phlegmatics are brilliant people. Eh?
Yeah,
they always the in-betweeners. They arbitrators. They help us with negotiations.
Yes.
They can talk. They sit quiet in a room and you underestimate their authority and their power till they open their mouth. It's like potent, like wow, you get it, man. Do you think we are living in a world of where people just are not truthful, based on the internet and based on Facebook and based on how we need to look and portray, specifically on Instagram? CJ, you a younger generation, it must be this perfect picture,
Yes.
and it must look good. And even if the person can't cook, they just kind of pretend that this is their meal. This pretense in life. It's hard to find self if you every time send a smiling emoji.
Yes.
Do you think so?
No, definitely, Pastor. We are living in this world where, unfortunately, the social media, which is great on the one hand, but if there's no perspective about what's happening out there, you think and you measure you calibrate your compass to social media. Social media is something that's frivolous. It changes. It's not true. It's not authentic. for me, I calibrate according to the word of God, even not according to my feelings, because my feelings are also temporary, it changes. So, so that is definitely, even with WhatsApp and things, and many people send me jokes, and I just send that laughing emoji. I'm not even laughing, but I do not want the next person to feel that his joke or her joke was not well received. So it's also, look, it's I think it's a bit of emotional intelligence also coming into play, because you have to manage your relationships, but ultimately it's not a real true reflection of, speak to the person or speak face call, maybe then, you can actually get the real sense. So we are living in a world of smoke and mirrors. So having to filter through what is real and what is not.
Well, let me get to the point that you really like. Yeah, let me get you to your comfort zone. CJ, this lady, she was on DSTV the other day with a few programs, and it was so smart seeing you there on DSTV, standing your grounds and share a little about. Remember previously we were talking about how hard it exams was. Sometimes people just think they can venture into that, but without scaring some beautiful girls out there that want to study in this field, tell us a little about the journey into being a surveillance. What attorney are you? The
conveyancing attorney.
Conveyancing attorney.
Yes.
I confuse conveyancing with surveillance.
I'm checking people out now.
Is that so?
No, the surveillance is checking people out. I'm not into surveillance. I'm not stalking anybody, please.
But you're stalking buildings out.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
look, they also, sometimes they introduce me as a property attorney.
Yes.
So conveyancing and property, but, conveyancing is the actual thing that you're actually
Okay.
doing.
Tell us about that exams. Why is it so difficult?
We should ask the examiners that, because I see now they are trying to make it a bit, more manageable for people, but it has got 6% pass rate.
What?
Yes, 6% pass rate. You have hundreds of people in that hall writing that examination, and often for the second, third time, you don't. The volume of the work is just so much, and
So it covers from what to what, just to give us an idea.
you get things like how to do a power of attorney that you have to give the conveyancer to transfer the property. Then you get property descriptions, how to describe a property properly. How to the parties, how to make sure the parties have got capacity to transfer property, and then it goes into how the properties are numbered in the deeds registry, how the deeds registry system works, the land register. It is very complicated. It is really actually very complicated, and people don't realize that there are so many details. I mean, many times we lodge things in the deeds office for registry, and will come back something is rejected because this hasn't been, this number was this, or this word was here, or so it has to be very particular, because that is property, it's people's real rights.
So if we have to ask you a little for some advice for people who want to, like CJ sitting here, and the first thing before she get to a Range Rover is better to get to some property, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about how important it is for you to own property, or is it irrelevant? Can you just rent? Because there's something out there now where the millennials feel that you don't have to buy. You can just rent your life. In any case, it's like you entangle for a 20-year bond and all those stuff all around. Share a little about that.
Property is a very good asset. Once you have land, you own something real. I think I heard once someone taught that you can't even get married as a man unless you own land. Because if you don't own land, you have got nothing in your name. Renting, you're paying someone else's property.
Yes,
You have to have a
essentially.
real right. Even when you pass away and we do deceased estates, a deceased estate is not really a deceased estate if there's no property involved. That's how property is. How serious it is. Even if you've got a small little house in extension 9 or wherever the case may be, that property is registered in the deeds office, and it is a real right that has to be. So can you imagine when you don't have any rights to your name? I'm so pleased, Pastor, that in the last few weeks, last few months, I've seen the trend of young professionals are coming to buy property. In fact, the one young man sold his car, which is not really an asset, by the way.
Gee, give it up. Give it up for the
Yes,
millennials.
So I was so
Give
impressed.
it up for the millennials.
I was so impressed to buy himself a house.
Yes.
In his name, because he knows that is a real right, and cars don't appreciate over time. Land is a real right, so You know, I would encourage all young people, anyone, once you have a property in your name, hold on to it. Even when things are difficult, I know now with COVID that has happened, the property prices have come down, but so has the bond. Interest rates also come down, so it's easier to repay your bond. So people are pressured into having to, I'm going to sell, because everyone's selling. But hold on to your real right as long as you can, because that is really, then you got power.
So as a millennial, does one have to wait until you, I don't know, make it big time in your career, so 35, or is there sort of space for people starting out in the industry? Like, do you need to have certain salary to be able to buy property?
Well, look, if you're 18, you are legally, you're a major. You can enter into any contracts, a contract of sale, bond and so on. So if you're 18 and you are of the means to purchase a property, you don't have to start with, the properties over R1 million, because under R1 million, there's no tax, no transfer duty, which is a tax to SARS. People mustn't confuse transfer fees with transfer duty. Transfer fees will always be paid to the attorney. But transfer duty, there's no duty on any property over R1 million. So it actually gives you such an advantage. Let me get in.
Yes.
Even low, because the bonds are, the interest rate is low. Everything is low. Everything's in your favor to purchase a property. And you don't have to, that's not you can rent it out.
Yes.
And rental income, and then pay off your property that way. So it's a good investment. Sometimes you'll obviously lose a little bit. Maybe your bond is 5,000, you're getting 4,000 rent. That's okay.
But the
That's
property
okay.
is still yours.
The property is yours.
CJ, that was valid. I tell you, I didn't think of it. But now, when as Charlene unpacked it, so important, because sometimes you just think you must have this house on the hill.
Yes.
And you don't think like, why do you start out with a cheap car or second-hand car? It's because it's affordable. And I never thought of buying a under R1 million house as affordable. And you think of, I need a 3-bedroom house or something like that. That is so valid, because you can literally start out with a 1-bedroom house, but it's yours and it's all yours, and it's affordable. My son Xavier always explained it to us in this way. Now, this is most probably not relevant for houses, but for cars equally. Let me just try to define. So you find this young guy, he wanted to buy this expensive Golf. And this Golf is about, I don't know much about cars. Just say it's a GTS if there's something like that, or for GTX if there's something. I'm just making it up. Maybe there's not even something like that. I'm not in cars. I don't know. I just buy a car that I like, and that's it. So let's say that's the car. But the value of that car really is 400,000 rand. 400. But the same person cannot afford buying a Porsche for the value of 250,000. Mindset. So when you drive a 250,000 rand Porsche, everybody thinks you've got the money, but they don't think that the guy with the Golf really have the money, because they put all their money in a brand.
Yes.
It's perceptions. It's impression out there. What do you think of me? All right, look, just on a light note, yesterday I stopped there. I was with my wife, so I can't remember. We went to the shop, and there was a guy just talking there, and clearly his wife and another friend. But this guy was well built and with a tight T-shirt. I just stopped there and I said, "Hey man, do me a favor. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it if you dress like that." The guy looked at me very embarrassing. He said, "It's like, what's up?" It's like he wanted to take me on. I said, "You know what? I don't appreciate it, because when I'm with my wife, you let me look bad." I said, "Don't do that." Well, it was just a joke. But at the end of the day, we are laughing at ourselves. Not investing, and back to CJ, not investing, and that young guy can buy a flat. What's the cheapest that you can get? It depends on area, but let us just now be critical around it. What's the cheapest that you can get?
Oh, Pastor, a good a property, for example, good 2-bedroom for 300,000, 400,000. A repayment on a bond of that is about 3,000 rand a month. So why would you not want to get rent for something for 4,500? It's 3,000 rand a month or 4,000 rand a month. So that is basically the ballpark figure. 300,000, 400,000. You do get up to 200,000, but then that will be a fixer upper. And if you got the appetite for that, great. That can be your little project, your investment. You can build it up and then raise up the value to 400,000 even. So there's definitely, you'll always see, distressed properties, things like that. Honestly.
Just on that note, share a little more about the do's and don'ts What is it that you must be on the lookout for, seeing that you explain the property to us here today? What is it that you must do when you walk into a house? What must you look at? What's the pitfalls? What is the... Just give us some advice there.
You know, when people look at a house, you know, often you're overwhelmed because it's so beautiful. But remember, that house has been put the best foot forward. You know, they put the best foot forward. It even smells nice. Maybe cookies baking or coffee or whatever. So you just take it in by the whole atmosphere. So you forget to look up, you know, at the ceiling. And see if there's any watermarks on the ceiling. You forget to open the cupboards in the kitchen, you know, to see are the hinges, you know, correct. Open the doors of all the wardrobes. Open the wardrobes, because you will see in the wardrobes sometimes there are signs of damp, rising damp and things like that. So even the tiles, look at the tiles. Try to walk on the tiles, you know, as far as you can, so you can just feel if there's anything unstable. Things like that. So just look more than on the surface and ask questions. You know, why are you selling your house? How is that?
What's the typical one? Why are you selling? Because they want to get rid of the house, right? You know why I'm asking? I'm selling. I want to get some tips here. I'm selling. Why are you selling? Why are you moving? Mine is simple. We want to scale down.
Yes,
That's it. Boom, done deal. And you know what? We really want to scale down. Our house is way too big.
Yes.
We can sleep every night in a different room, and then 16 days later we're not finished with it.
Yes. No, that is the most heard one, that they are scaling down. Many people are immigrating, or but most of the time they're scaling down, or they're going into retirement, or the children are now buying and they're going to be living in a cottage in their children or whatever. So it's mainly people that are scaling down. Others who are scaling up, will say, no, we're moving to this area and so on, but we love this area, this home. And they would never put the area down. They will never tell you if there has been break-ins.
They want to say
Of course
it.
not. Yeah.
Yes, they will never. You speak to the neighbors, speak, next door, speak across the road, things like that. We also have like what's called a Lightstone report, and you just look at the properties in the area. Always look if there's many for sale signs in that very street, or
That's some form of indication.
yes,
Right?
that's an indication.
So where's the best place if you have to give a millennial some advice, right? Like, what my idea is, when I move from my house, I want 20-year lifespan on it. Like, I want to make sure for the next 20 years I'm cool, I'm good.
Yes.
What would you suggest?
For the millennials,
Yes, to them, because you know what, they most probably will go into a 20-year bond.
yes.
Or 15-year bond. You don't want to go into a 15-year bond and then just down the line you have to resell for half the
Yes,
price.
yes.
What must they be on the lookout for?
Yes, well, always look at the area better than what the house is. Rather buy a dilapidated house in a good area than buying a grand mansion in a very bad area. Because ultimately the area determines the price and the resale value of that house. Because the market determines actually the value of your property. Like, oh, my house is worth 6 million. I spent 6 million on my house. You're not going to get 6 million, is what the market wants. So check your area, number one, a good area. And number two, for the millennials, I think, buy a townhouse in a complex. Because there's, the resale chances of that is actually higher.
Okay.
Because, people love buying in a complex. They love the security. They love not having a garden and a this and a this and a this. Because having your own earth is actually quite, the rates and taxes are higher, things like that. Although in some complexes, the levies are high. So that you also have to be on the lookout for. What are the levies, besides the water?
You know what, Charlene, just on that levy one, CJ, you might like this one. Sometimes you buy in a bad area, but your monies that's going for the high fences and the security systems and the cameras around the house are more than the levies.
Yes.
It's almost somebody that say, oh, I don't want to buy a brand new Chevy Spark. It's just too cheap. But you buy a brand new Chevy Spark that you have 4 years of surety, or 3 or 5 years of surety of you can just take it to the garage and they change everything up to brake shoes. But he wants to buy this second-hand car that he wants to boast about, and then at the end of the day, he spend more per month
Yes.
on that car, fixing that
Fix,
old
upgrade.
car.
So
Is that when
essentially,
it
it's
could have just
counterproductive.
Yes.
exactly. So house buying is exactly the same.
Yes.
So if you buy wrong, it's coming. It's
Yeah.
coming to bite you.
Yeah, it will cost you. Look, we all learn our hard lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So don't think that you're not going to have lessons. You are going to make mistakes and
Yes.
so on. But you know what? Mistakes are great because they teach us. You know, they teach us in what not to do the next time. So I would say for a young person, just a nice 2-bedroom in a secure complex that you have done research on. Check the body corporate details and the body corporate's finances and so on. Just speak to the people in the complex to get a general feel.
That is so interesting. Well, we've got here on the show here somebody, a very smart, intelligent lady here with us, and she tried to be modest, CJ, all the time. It's like, oh no, but you know what? If I carry all that degrees, I've been like teaching, just try law and just try surveillance here, surveillance.
You see them again, I'm a stalker.
Conveyance here, and so on. And it's like, well, we have got Charlene Goliath with us here. Charlene, it's so good having you here. Just share a little about this 72-hour clause that everybody is talking about here. What is that clause all about if it comes to property?
That I was invited on the All About Property, and they needed to know about the 72-hour clause, more about that. So what happens sometimes when someone is selling a house? Let's say, for example, Doc is selling his house now, and someone comes with an offer. But they first need to sell their existing home. So that offer is subject to him having to sell a home. It's a suspensive condition in the contract. To say, yes, we've got a contract, but only if I sell my home am I going to buy your home. So then that leaves the seller at a disadvantage. Now he's waiting for this purchaser to sell his home. As long as that purchaser does not sell his home, he's kind of stuck. So the 72-hour clause in the contract gives the seller the option to continue marketing his property, whilst waiting for the first buyer to sell his home. So if you then get a better offer, or you get another offer, well, a better offer will be an offer that's free from that condition. To say, look, I'm ready to buy your house. I've got a bond or I've got cash. So you then have to give your first buyer 72 hours to say, look, I've got another offer. Can you come up with a better offer?
That's fair.
Yes. Can you then either, say, look, I'll secure it with a bond, or I'll secure, because now I don't now need to wait for you anymore. That was just, so that's the 72 hours. You're giving him 72 hours to
That's
come up
fair.
with a better offer. Very
That's
fair.
fair. Tell me, the other thing is like, you pay a deposit.
Yes.
When you want to purchase, let's say I want to buy your house. So I get to attorney, I get to you, and then the deposit is whatever, 300,000 rand house is 30,000, let's say. Is it about, is it, what do you call it? It depends on the deposit. How do you get to the deposit?
There's not always a deposit required.
Okay.
If you can make an offer to say, I'm not giving you a deposit, but I'm getting 100% bond to pay your purchase price, there's no deposit required. Sometimes just to secure the deal, the seller will feel more secure to say, if you pay a deposit, it shows your good intentions.
Let's take it on that. Let's say you want to secure the deal, you pay that deposit.
Yes.
Right. And then there's agreement, offer to purchase, 3 months, boom. Let's say the condition was you sell your house, and I understand the 72-hour clause, which is fair, right, CJ?
Yeah,
That's fair.
definitely.
So let's say that is okay. But you within 3 months, you simply could not sell your house. Do you lose that deposit?
Now, well, like in the offer to purchase, you have to stipulate all those things. An agreement is agreement between two parties. No one can tell you what to put in that agreement. Obviously, it must not be contra bonus mores. You can't be outside the morals and normal. So you say, look, I'm going to give you a year to come up with, to sell your house. If you cannot sell your house within, in that year, or then your if you feel the purchaser, if you elect to look, I can't do it anymore, then. Because the contract is cancelled by either the seller or the buyer, but by agreement. So look, okay, let's agree. You cannot come up, you cannot sell your home.
Right.
And whatever. So if you agree.
Yes. Oh, great. Well, that's what it's all about. I'm surrounded here by two wonderful ladies, as I mentioned previously. But we want to get to a point here that is really, 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 really sensitive. If you get a fresh start in life, how will that look like? You know what? She's young. Charlene, let's hit on the millennials first.
Yes.
So she's just in the third year. I mean, how fresh can that be? But
Baby fresh.
that is so fresh. I mean, life is just waiting for you. If you have to, CJ, if you have to start anything over, what will that be? don't try to look at 30 years ahead or so, or possible mistakes, but for where you are now, you in this career, in this path, would you have chosen this? What would you start over if you had to?
I don't think that I'd start anything over per se. It's a loaded question, firstly. I think I would just have started earlier with the things I know I'm supposed to be doing, if that makes sense.
Well, we're not going to go in there, right, Charlene? We're not going. But life is about a journey,
Yes.
and on the journey, it's like, one year we traveled from here to Cape Town, and we had problems in Beaufort. I always love to use that illustration.
With a caravan.
No. That was another time.
Oh.
So many other times. But you know what? The idea is to go on holiday, and something happened in Beaufort with the car. You cannot stop the holiday. You need to replan, and you need to look into possibilities. Catch a train from there if there's no flights from there,
Yes.
or hire a car from there, or find something, but get to your destination.
Yes.
Because you've paid for 14 days or 7 days for a holiday. Life is exactly like that, and just like the dancing with a beat, with or without a beat, life is like that. Sometimes we find ourselves a little longer in Beaufort West on our way to Cape Town, but you just have to change one way or the other, something in life
Yes.
to get there. So back to you now. If you have to change anything, what would that be? If you had to look back in your life and say, I would have done that differently, what would that be?
I don't know that there will be any specific thing, but rather a mindset.
Sure.
Well, let me hear.
Yeah,
Wow.
if I could have had the mindset, like I was again saying, the 2020 vision, to know that don't be surprised by these obstacles because it's going to come. But I know now that my path has already been predetermined and set. And I'm in the hands of an almighty creator. Nothing is going to thwart his purpose and his plan for me. I just need to catch up with his mindset, which of course I'll never do that. So I'll just have this mind to say, Lord, you are in control. I am just going with this thing. And when that is my mindset, Pastor. If I can not, it is not no thing. Because everything that has come to me has been good in the end. The pain was good in the end. Even the current pain I'm going through will be good in the end.
Yes.
It's like medicine. When you take that medicine, it's horrible while you're taking it. So I want to just have this perspective to say, let it come. Because I know after this, I'm just going to be a little bit stronger. Even in my business, when I have challenges, most mornings I wake up and I first cry. I first cry and then I wipe my tears. And then I start praying and then I start reading and then I start talking to the Lord and I start praising. But it's painful and it's difficult situations that I face that I don't even know how to do it. But guess what? At the end of the day, I know how to do it.
Yes.
So I'm stronger after that. So I said, Lord, I know you are growing my shoulders.
Yes.
Because my shoulders need to be broad for this burden and this blessing that I'm going to be carrying. Because every blessing comes with a burden,
Yes.
with responsibilities. So he's broadening my shoulders. So that mindset, if I could have had that mindset to say, I know.
The surety that you can rest in
Yes.
God.
Yes.
Just that, because sometimes we overreact, sometimes we do stuff that we regret at
Yes.
times. There's a whole lot of things in my personal life that I would love to do over. And I guess everybody, and it's fair. But you know what's interesting about this whole thing? There are times in your life that you just have to go through it. Otherwise, we are sometimes at where we are by default. If life didn't pressurize you, you would have been whatever. Isn't it true?
Exactly.
You wouldn't have been an attorney.
I would not have been.
You would have been content just being a teacher. And it's
Yes.
like mark books and go home.
Yes, because
It's-
we don't want problems.
Yes.
In fact, we want the miracles, but
Yes.
we don't
Sure.
want the problem that the miracle
Sure.
it's
That's
required.
the
for.
journey of the miracle.
Yes.
Yes.
So let's for example, like if I can use an example, you have cancer, you're praying for the miracle, but you don't want to have the cancer.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So miracle by its definition is an answer to a problem.
Exactly.
But we want a problem-free life, and it's through the problems and that hardships. Like when the oil is being, the olives are being crushed, the grapes are being crushed. And look at my beautiful daughter, my beautiful son. I would never wish any of those years or experiences away.
Exactly.
away.
Even
no.
though the music was not according.
No, it wasn't my music. But one thing I've also learned that we have to do, we have to be adaptable.
Exactly.
You have to be able to adapt. Yes, you can have IQ and EQ, but you must be able to adapt. Okay, so, and do this and switch gears, change gears, like you say, go from the car, get into the train.
Yes.
But still get to your destination.
And get stronger. Don't give up.
Yes.
And the easiest thing is just to turn around. The easiest thing is just to say, I'm on drugs because my father didn't greet me for all my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm an alcoholic today, because it's like, excuse me, I understand where you are, but switch on at some point. You should switch on.
Yes, Doc, the thing about pain, we always going to have it, whichever, and if you think, I'm not going to do that, it's going to be painful. Guess what? You'll have the pain of regret for not having done that. There will be pain of regret.
Yes.
So rather do it, and then if you have failed, to say, look, I know I've tried it, I failed at it, but all right, at least I know I tried. I will not have regret, because regret, I think, is the greatest pain. Because now you can do nothing about it. Time has gone. Now, to live and to die with regret is something that I do not want to do. So don't think that pain is not going to be part of the story. Just get used to it.
It's biblical. It says so in the Bible.
It's biblical. Why are we surprised?
Exactly. But I think the beauty in it is, and we as believers should find confidence in the fact that He's with us every step of the way. It's throughout the Bible, and we should begin to believe that and walk on that. Because there is essentially purpose in pain.
No, definitely. And even my prayer every morning, I say, let me just be aware of you right next to me. I know you're right next to me. Let me just be aware of you. Because, when the waters are swirling and things are going, and the steam is coming out of my hair, literally, because I am, I'm in a hard place.
Yeah.
But I said, let me be aware of you right here next to me. I made a big sign on my office there. And my son said to me, is this what you're doing when I'm thinking you're working?
And what was that sign?
It says, the devil will attack, but God will win.
Sure.
Just and I just look up and say, right, Lord, I know you, no weapon formed against me. Using the word and not my feelings, because look, it's good to have our feelings. But just get that word.
You know what? We at the end of our show. Can't be unbelievable. We are in the show.
Wow.
Yeah, unbelievable. And thank you so much, man. But before you run, tell us what's the name of your company, so that people, if they want to Google you and find you and just get you. How are you registered in your company?
Goliath Incorporated. Goliath Attorneys Incorporated.
Fantastic. And what's your services?
I do conveyancing, and I'm a notary as well.
Tell us, what's a notary?
A notary is not someone that's qualified to take notes.
Yeah.
That's what my brother said. Oh, you qualified to take notes now. A notary is someone that executes certain documents, like antenuptial contracts. It's not any attorney that can do a notary. Not any attorney can be a conveyancer. So a notary, you do antenuptial contracts. You execute documents like cessions of exclusive use areas, or authentication of documents for overseas. So the stamp and sign and seal of a notary bears so much weight and responsibility for those documents, especially, So that's basically what a notary is. Yeah. In a nutshell.
Yeah. For there you have it, a smart girl on the other side. If you need any advice and you watch this Inside Show, Google a little about her, and just support this wonderful woman, and just give her the necessary support. If you want to buy a house, you want to sell a house, you want to buy some property, you need some advice, whatever it is, this is the go-to place. This is the girl to ask. From my side, I just want to thank everybody on the set again. CJ, give me less than 30 seconds closing remarks there.
I just want to say, I did not know any of this. I'm 23, I'm educated, but I do not know the first thing about property. And so I learned a lot. It was refreshing, and it's like the show says, it was very insightful.
Yes.
So thank you.
This is the fill-in station.
Yes.
You top up your juices and stuff like this. Closing remarks from you, Charlene.
I just like to tell everybody to keep moving. Keep moving forward. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep investing in yourself. Because if you don't move, you go bad.
Thank you so much. It's like water, standing water. You must be like a river. Yes. Even better, like the sea. Just push it in and pull it back and just give it at us. Everybody out there, thank you so much for watching the Inside Show today with your host Carl Hendricks here. From my side, please do me a favor. Just please subscribe and hit the bell every time when we come online. You will know that we are online. Well, from my side here, I see JC is smiling there behind the camera because I did it right, and he's so pleased that I did it right. From my side to you, I love you. I'm signing out, and God loves you best. You take care. Have have a super day. Good morning, everybody. It is so good to have you here with me.
Imagine if you have your vision as the car with the right team.
Imagine how quick that vision will come into the footsteps.
Something that was taking 5 years takes 3 months.
This morning is all about the leadership and influence.